All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I am going to be going over how to build your short-term rental investment portfolio today. And so, first off, I just want to say thank you. The majority of you were on the Wealthy Realtor Masterclass already, which was like a 5-hour event where we were interviewing some amazing speakers and real estate agents and investors and just like amazing people. So if you have not seen that, please go back and watch that. That is now living on my YouTube channel, I want to say. And so today I am really digging into just one of those passive income streams that I love, which is the Airbnb short-term rental and mid-term rental model. So I am going to be sharing my screen with you all here because I have a PowerPoint presentation that I do want to go through just because it's a lot easier, I think, for you guys to understand what I'm talking about when you're actually able to see what I'm talking about. So as I said, we're going to be going over building out your short-term rental portfolio today. And what this is really just using other people's properties to build your short-term rental portfolio. Now, I understand some of you already have properties and you are going to be using those properties to turn into your Airbnbs as well. Don't worry, that totally works. But this is another way for real estate agents as well to draw in more leads so that you can sell more houses as a real estate agent. So let's dig in. What I'm going to show you today is 3 things. So the first one is finding the right type of property and then learning how to overcome the objections that come up correctly. Also, furnishing the property. So how do you furnish that property to attract more guests and more of your avatar guests? So your perfect guest, whether that's a relocation client or someone who's vacationing or even just family, right? Family, friends coming in to visit. And then also, last but not least, I'm going to be going over filling the property. And that, again, is going back to who is your current avatar and how can you create the most leads coming in for your real estate brokerage business. So why listen to me? Well, first off, I've definitely been through the school of investment hard knocks, I like to say. We built an Airbnb short-term rental and mid-term rental business generating hundreds of thousands of dollars in our first 12 months. And so we've been at this now for a little over 3 years, and it has definitely been life-changing for us. Just created another stream of income, actually like 5 more streams of income just from doing Airbnbs. And so one of those streams is passing these referral leads to my agents. So I have agents in various states and countries now where we actually run this model and we're passing buyer and seller leads to them for another commission. So I'll go into a little bit more about that as well. And of course, turned my passion of traveling into my dream job. So now I'm literally the traveling realtor and we travel. I still do real estate, but I do a lot of Zoom real estate. I do a lot of Airbnbs and some other things too, which I'll get into. And many people ask like, well, how did you get into this? And slowly losing my dad over the last 4 years is how I got into Airbnb. There was a point in time and my dad got cancer again. And literally life had stopped at that point. And we ended up taking him to Mexico for cancer treatment. And while we were there, we decided that we were going to rent our property on Airbnb. And this is our personal property in Raleigh, North Carolina. So we rented this property. Our mortgage is $1,500 a month. We rented it for $150 a night, and the first 14 nights paid us over $2,200. And we were like, holy cow, I think we're on to something here. And so instead of, we were actually flipping a couple properties as well while we were in Mexico. Yes, I know, crazy. But we ended up keeping all of those properties too and turning all of them into Airbnbs. And then we ended up buying some and turning those into Airbnbs. So we've kind of done everything in the Airbnb world. But this is a way, we call this house hacking, what we did with our personal property. And so when I went back and I ran the numbers, for 2019, we lived in this home for about 3 to 4 months, and we still profited over $3,000 on our personal property. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do this, okay? We've been through 24 properties already, and these are just a few things that we've found to be more important. Number one is controlling the property. It's a lot less riskier than actually going out and maybe turning your long-term rentals into Airbnbs, or even going and purchasing the property for Airbnbs. And so you're actually able to earn 3 to 4 times more the income when you are doing rental arbitrage. Now, let me explain what rental arbitrage is. So rental arbitrage is whenever you don't own the home, you're literally controlling the home. So you go to a landlord and you say, hey, Mr. Landlord, I would love to rent your property. And then he understands what you're doing. Obviously, I have a whole pitch for this. And so he says, okay, I'll rent you my property for $1,500. So we rent that property. Our company goes on the lease and we sign a 1-year lease. We are the tenants for that property. I turn around, I furnish the property, I make it beautiful. I go in, I do all the professional photos and all of that. And then we rent that property, sub-rent that out on maybe Airbnb, or for us, we're doing more midterm rentals, more 30, 60, 90-day rentals. And so we're actually able to make the profit in between that. So I'm going to get into a lot more about how we do that here in a few minutes. But we're actually able to secure the properties 80% of the time, meaning when we go talk to a landlord, we now have this down to a science, to where 80% of the time the landlords are like, please, 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 let me rent my house to you. You're going to take amazing care of it. And so we also are going to talk about how to identify the right house and stay out of the wrong houses, because I will tell you, we did get into a few of the wrong houses. So I'll tell you that story here in a second, but it's really about finding your hidden business within your current business. So as you can imagine, we've done a lot right over the years, but we've also done a lot wrong. And I believe that every failure is, you learn from it, right? And how are you going to be successful? You fail a bunch of times and you learn from all of those failures. So let's talk about a couple of our failures. The first one is we bought properties. We ended up keeping up a couple of properties. And what happened was the very first one that we had kept, it had well problems, meaning back in North Carolina, most of our properties in Raleigh, and this particular property, the well went out and I had to annex into the city, which then I had to get city water that came in. This was about a 3-month process, and that house sat empty for 3 months. On top of, I had to pay almost $10,000 to fix this issue and to get water running back to this house. So if I had done rental arbitrage on that property, then number one, I wouldn't have had to pay the rent, which I still had to pay the mortgage on this property because I owned it. And I wouldn't have had to pay to fix this issue. So that would have saved me $10,000 plus the $1,300 a month I would have been paying in a mortgage payment, right? So buying the homes is a strategy. It's not my strategy right now. One more thing that we did was we signed a lease from just photos. So we actually had a landlord reach out to us, and she loved our business model. And she's like, yeah, I'm purchasing this new property in the 5 Points area of Raleigh, and super nice area. And so we were looking at the pictures, they were all staged and gorgeous. And we're like, yeah, we'll do this. And for some reason, there was an excuse why we couldn't see the house before she closed on it. So we went ahead and signed the lease, and we gave her the security deposit. And then on closing day, we can go see the house that we just leased for a year. And we go in, and of course, all the staging furniture is out. All the pictures are off the wall. There was lead-based paint peeling off the wall. The the hardwood floors that were covered with rugs had like rotted areas everywhere. And it was just not in the condition that we needed it to be in. And so we ended up losing the security deposit. We were able to get out of the lease because we helped her get it leased out to more of a long-term tenant. And we lost our money. Okay. Don't do that. You have to go in and see these properties and like look in the shower and look at these properties really good to know that this is a property that's going to work for the short-term rental market. We also tried turning some of our long-term rentals into short-term rentals, and we found out very fast that it was going to cost around $20,000 per property to get these properties up to a state where we would feel comfortable having them on Airbnb, because most landlords have long-term rental properties that are not really short-term rental ready, meaning they're not updated, the paint's not gorgeous, the floors may have some, not gorgeous areas. And so it's just important when you're doing short-term, especially if you're on Airbnb, to have a property that is just like top notch. Because let me tell you, if there's one thing for someone to complain about, they're going to complain about it. So I'll go over that too. And last but not least, we didn't have cameras when we first started. You got to have cameras. We do Ring doorbells. And we also do the Arlo cameras, which are like the little white cameras, and we put them facing out onto the driveway so we can see who's coming into the house. And then we also have cameras on the back door facing out, like over the deck. You can never have a camera facing in. So you can't have it like where if someone opened the door, you can't have it where that camera can see inside the property. You will get kicked out of Airbnb in a hot minute if you do that. So don't learn the hard way and do that. The easy way, all right? I think we all want the easy way. I wish I had the easy way when I first started. But one of the things is when I do rental arbitrage, which again is leasing it from the landlord and having the master lease, and then going and subleasing that out to our monthly tenants or our weekly tenants or whatever you want to call them, we are actually spending a lot less money. So we have a much higher ROI on these properties, and we're able to make more on the back end. So at this point, ever since COVID, we are focusing on 30, 60, 90-day rentals. Now, before COVID happened, we were 100% Airbnb, and that is it. Like we lived by Airbnb. But then COVID hit, and the whole rental market has shifted. So if you guys are getting into short-term rentals, I would suggest you do short-term and midterm. And a midterm rental is like a 30, 60, 90-day stay. That's what we're finding, even here in Cabo San Lucas, where we're living right now. We're finding that people are coming in for like a month at a time. They're not really coming in for the weekend trips. And so it's about the same amount of money. It's definitely less stress because you're not having to flip these properties with cleanings and everything, every week or every weekend. And then also marketing your business to attract your perfect client, your perfect avatar, I like to call it. So discovering who that perfect client is, and this is going to vary. So if you're in, I know Krista is in, on a lake in Montana, like that is going to be a property that's going to attract vacationers and probably like large groups, like maybe family reunions or something like that. So that's a different type of client. For me and my clients, I have all single family homes. Most of them are on a half acre of land within 30 minutes of Raleigh. So everyone knows, like if I rent a house from Amanda, this is what you're going to get. My perfect avatar, my perfect client is someone who is coming into Raleigh and they're looking at relocating there. So they want to spend maybe, a month in our Chapel Hill house and a month in our Garner house and a month in our Fuquay Varina house. They want to be in an area where they can actually get to know the neighborhoods. So whenever they're moving from, Los Angeles, California to Raleigh, North Carolina, they're going to end up in the right spot, meaning they're going to come and they're going to get a good feel for each of these neighborhoods. So whenever they are ready to purchase a property, they know where they want to look. They're not coming in blind. And so that's the problem that I am solving for my clients. My clients are relocation clients. They're coming into Raleigh. They don't know anything about Raleigh. So it's me and my agent's responsibility to really get to, give them all of the information and also allow them to live like a local in one of our properties. So getting started, there's a few ways you can get started with this. The first one is you can house hack. Okay. House hack is exactly what we did to get started with our personal property. If you remember, I said, yeah, we rented out our personal home. There's a whole system for being able to do that. And you can either rent out your entire house, maybe if you're going to be traveling for a while, or you can rent out just a room in your house. There's actually room rentals as well. Not sure how many people really want to do that right now with the midst of COVID, but some are still doing it. I do have one of our agents in Colorado who is renting out her basement. And so just the basement rental alone is paying for the entire house mortgage payment. So you can do that if you have maybe like a detached garage and a room over the garage. You can make that into a super cute little Airbnb. So there's lots of things you can do with your personal property. And if you're living in an actual house, right? You can also partner with the landlord. So if you know a landlord and you can come up with some type of system for them, you can charge them a marketing fee. You can actually go in, you can co-host with them. You can do all kinds of stuff. They can buy the furniture, you can buy the furniture, it just depends. And also it's going to cost you, if you're doing it our way, which is the rental arbitrage way, it's going to cost you some money to get started. All right. Our expenses it's around $10,000 per property. And so you are going to have some seed money. What I always suggest is if you own a home, personal home, then you can always pull a HELOC. This is a home equity line of credit. And if you pull this line of credit on your personal property and you don't use it, then you never get charged. All right. So it's a really good thing to do when you don't need it, because when you do need it, you probably won't be able to take one. So just a little tip there. An LOC is a line of credit you can usually get through your bank. And nowadays you can do everything on credit cards as well. And so that's just a little way of how to get started. If you have long-term rental properties, you can always convert your long-term rentals into short-term or midterm rentals. Just be cautious because you want to make sure that this property is in like tip-top shape, especially if you're going on to Airbnb. And then you can rent the home from the landlord and turn around and arbitrage the property. That is what we do. You can also purchase a property, fix it up, build equity in that property, and then run that as a short-term or a midterm rental for about 4 times the cash flow that you would normally get if you were doing just a normal long-term rental property. So how much does this really cost? Okay, I know my numbers are crazy. This is based on buying a $200,000 house. Do they exist anymore? Maybe, maybe not, depending on where you are. So this is just an example, of course. But if I were telling you to go out and purchase a home for $200,000 to do a short-term rental out of, then you would be really putting about $50,000 into that property. How do I come up with that? Well, you're going to have to put probably 20% down on your loan because this is an investment property. And so that's $40,000. And then you're going to have to pay for obviously your closing costs and everything, plus your furniture. You're going to have to furnish this property. So you're in for about $50,000 for one property versus you could do the rental arbitrage method, which is what we are doing now. And you can lease the property from the homeowner. And then you can turn around and you can add this to your short-term rental portfolio. It's going to cost you about $10,000. How do I come up with that? That's my numbers. All right. That's going to pay for your first month rent. It's going to pay for your security deposit, and it's going to pay for all of the furnishings in the property. How are you furnishing so cheap? I'm going to get into that. All right. I'm not ordering everything off of Amazon or Pier 1. Okay. So I'll get into that, but that's the difference, right? So if you're arbitraging, it really depends on if you want to scale. If you want to scale this and you want to have 5 properties to the one property that you could buy and you only have $50,000, then that's your call, right? Obviously, when you're owning the property, you're not taking advantage of all of the tax deductions and everything like that. But then again, you're going to make way more money if you arbitrage these properties because you can scale 5 times the amount of properties. So lesson number 1 is finding the property. So let's get into that. What do you actually need to look for when you're looking for property to do arbitrage on or to rent short-term, midterm rental, period? So first thing is location. Obviously safe, convenient area. I do not like HOAs. Now there are a lot of educators out there that teach you how to go into, hotels and apartment buildings and condos and all of that and do this in all of those buildings. I want no part of that because I do not want an HOA to be able to change the rules on me when I'm 3 months into a lease and tell me that I can no longer, short-term or midterm rent that property. I'm the one stuck in a lease. And so I don't want that to happen. And also, I don't want to be all up on other people like that with neighbors. You have to have really good neighbors. And I love going to the neighbors and just having a little chit chat with them before turning a property into a short-term rental so that they can always contact me if there's an issue, not the city or wherever the house is located. Landlords. Now, not all landlords are going to be landlords that you want to partner with. They need to understand your business model. They need to understand that when things break, they need to fix them immediately. They cannot sit for a week with the HVAC out or a plumbing leak or anything like that. It's just not going to happen because you have guests in these properties and they expect you to fix these issues. And if it's a big issue, then obviously that falls on the landlord. But if the landlord's not fixing that in a timely manner, you're the one that's going to be getting the bad review, not the landlord. So it's really important to have a landlord that understands how important this is and that you run this as a business. This is not just a hobby. This is not, something that you're just playing around with. This is your business, and one bad review can kill you on Airbnb. So when done correctly, you'll be fine. Property, make sure that you have a great curb appeal, meaning it looks good from the outside looking in. Like I can look at that property and say, yeah, I would stay there for sure. Updated interior, I think I've already kind of covered that. Move-in ready, of course, and easy parking. Make sure that there is, good parking area where you're not having to have your guests pay for parking or get like little passes to park on the street or anything like that. I mean, I guess you could, but it's just going to be more of a headache. And I try to make this as passive as possible. It's not truly passive because you're still having to deal with messages and cleanings and all of that. But hey, it's great money for the small amount of time that you are putting into it. So knowing your numbers is really, really important. Now, make sure that you are able to cover the rent that you're paying for these properties. And again, I'm talking arbitrage, okay? You're renting these properties from the landlord. Make sure you're able to cover that rent in just 12 days of this property being rented. Meaning, if you look over here on the side, it says example. If you're renting a property for $1,500 a month from the landlord, then that property must rent for $125 a night minimum for 12 nights. Now, this is 4 3-night weekends. I do not rent for anything less than 3 nights. Some of my properties are no less than a week. And so this will cover at least your monthly rent payment. Now, you could also do more of a midterm rental with this. And if I'm paying $1,500, then I need to be able to get at least $3,000 a month for that same property, renting it out as a fully furnished, all utility included property. Keep in mind that you are still having to pay utilities. You're paying the power, the gas, the Wi-Fi, the trash, the landscaping. You're paying for all of that. The guest is paying for the cleaning, okay? Also, insurance. You must have insurance. I know that the homeowner has an insurance policy. If you're on Airbnb, there's an insurance policy there, but you need to have your own liability policy as well. And if you have multiple properties, then I recommend doing a commercial liability policy as well. So lesson number 2 is furnishing the property. Now, this is important. This is not your house, okay? Don't furnish this, with antiques or crazy colorful rooms. Furnish this where anyone is going to want to come in and feel like they're staying in a nice, clean, safe place. So I have checklists where you can go on, I have, everything that you need for each and every room. Just keep in mind as you're furnishing these properties, white is always great because you can bleach it and it makes it look just clean. And I think now, just having something clean is way more important than anything else. So if you want any of my free downloads like that, I do have my Airbnb checklist on my website. If you just go to amandathetravelingrealtor.com, you'll be able to see all of my free downloads there. So photography tips. When you're having a photographer come, which you need to have a professional photographer come, do not try to do this by yourself. Make sure that it's guest ready, meaning the towels on the bed, the shampoos are in the shower, everything is laid out like a guest, like you're walking into a hotel room. Think about that, right? You're going into the bathroom in the hotel room. You have all the little travel sizes. It's welcoming. I love taking photos of inside all of my cabinets, inside all of my drawers. There's a reason for that, which I talk a lot about in the course. But it's really good for you to be able to go in and as a guest, right? You want to see, okay, well, do I have enough here to be able to live in this house for a month or two while my house is being built? Okay. Yeah, they do. They have a complete stocked kitchen, and they know they have a complete stocked kitchen. Also, great lighting. When your photographer is doing your photos, make sure all the curtains are open and just it looks light and bright and fun. Amenities, laundry, barbecue, office, iron, hair dryer, coffee, tea area. All of those are really, really important. So make sure that your photographer is taking photos of all of that. And you're going to have like your first 15 to 20 photos of like normal photos. All right. This would be the kitchen, the bathroom, the outside area, the bedrooms, all of that. But then towards the end of your 50-ish photos, you're going to have all of these others in there, because this is going to be for someone who's really interested in staying in your house, and they're going to want to see all of this towards the end. And then also your outdoors area. So if you have a great sitting area, or the front and the back of the home, maybe a fire pit, horseshoe pit, whatever it is, make sure to take photos of that because people just like to see it. Now, here are some websites that we shop on. Of course, you have your normal Amazon and Overstock.com. Those are great. And then also one that you're definitely going to want to shop on is the Mayfair Hotel Supply. This is where we get all of our travel size products. So we order all of our bathroom stuff, our shampoos, conditioners, lotions, and all of that in the little bitty package. And then also we do like the makeup removers, hand sanitizer, all that stuff. So they have great prices. We do a lot from Walmart. I know Walmart, but look, it's cheap. They have everything. So we have, our list of the hair dryers, the toasters, all of that comes from Walmart. We do all of our TVs at Best Buy, and it's just easy, right? You just go on, you order it, boom, done. And then also I get into a little bit in the course, I get into a little bit more on like how we're going in and refurnishing these properties with the furniture and how we're creating relationships with wholesalers and all of that. But what I love is this app. It's Yard Sale Treasure Map. And if you're in an area that has yard sales, which Raleigh, North Carolina does, you can always do this. And what this does is it pulls all of the listings from Craigslist and puts them into one app. And so you're actually able to go through and see everything. And what I look for is moving sales, garage sales, moving sales, estate sales, stuff like that, because this is people who maybe have gotten transferred to your area for a year or two, and now they're getting transferred again. But what you don't realize is they just bought everything in that house a year ago, and now they're having to sell everything in that house. And so you can get some really good deals that way. And it's good stuff. I mean, I'm not saying go buy crap stuff. You're buying good stuff for these properties, but it's just a way to save a ton of money. And so if you need to set up your host account, you can use my link here if you want to do a quick picture of this. This is going to get you $40 off of your next stay with Airbnb if you create your host account using my link below here. So lesson number 3 is filling the property. And this is probably my absolute favorite thing. So after you get your house listed on Airbnb, then up in the top right corner, you're going to see where it says preview listing. and it's going to have a little share tab on there. When you click on share, it's going to give you all of these different locations that you can share these properties to. And when you share it, you're going to be sharing out to social media mostly. What we did, because we do run this as a business, we have our own Facebook page, business Facebook page, and we have our Instagram page. We are in the process of creating our YouTube channel, which that's a whole nother conversation that we're doing with our YouTube channel. It's going to be freaking amazing. And so we post all of this into our business Facebook page. And then from there, we run our ads, we do some of our boost, and then I share that into the different groups, like the Facebook community groups, the for rent groups, the moving from groups, and marketplace. And then from there, I also share to my personal page. And I love doing live videos in our properties. I cannot tell you how beneficial this is, because people that you know who are on your Facebook page, they're going to love seeing you go live, showing them what you're working on. Hey guys, this is our new project. You know, we just got a brand new short-term rental in so-and-so city. And, you know, this is great for someone. If you know anyone moving into the area, they can come in, they can stay in this house for a week, for a month, doesn't matter. If they're looking to purchase a property, hey, I'm a real estate agent, I can always help them. Boom, you're going in a different way to attract people to you, a different way to get referrals from your friends and family. So I have a lot more about this that I teach as well, but obviously I'm trying to keep this as short as possible. So that will come later. So you can earn additional income by referring these leads that you're getting from these Airbnbs or short-term rentals, or you can help these clients yourself. And I really do focus on real estate agents and brokers and building your real estate business as well, not just the income coming in from these rental properties, but really bringing in, you know, these buyers so that you can then earn additional income, because I'm all about the multiple streams, as you guys know. So you can refer these partners out. You can create teams of real estate agents across the country like I have. You can earn referral fees every single time someone is selling their property in, you know, Texas and they're moving to North Carolina. You can get both of those referrals. There's tons of ways you can really scale this. And then also most Airbnb hosts, they don't have connections in other states. So if they have someone coming in, staying in their property, even if they're, you know, buying a property, they don't usually refer that client out to anyone because they're not really in that industry. They're doing this as more of a little side gig, or, hey, you're staying in my, you know, basement or my ad or whatever, right? They don't know. So that's something that you can do as well. You can create these relationships with other hosts. And I'm actually going to show you how to generate more than just the 25% referral fees. And let me show you how to do that, because it's all about working smarter, not harder, right? You always hear that. So you can step in as the agent yourself. All right. That is perfectly fine if you're looking to create more of these leads for yourself. But the real money comes in when you start referring these leads to your referral partners, because you're spending time marketing this business, branding your business, and generating more referrals coming in to your business. And then you're able to pass these leads. And keep in mind, 50% of these leads that you're passing, they will close. These are really hot leads. So, you know, someone's coming into the area, they're staying in your house, and you're like, hey, you've got to work with my partner, you know, Jimmy. He's a real estate agent here in the area. And they're most likely going to use Jimmy to go buy a property. And so you could ask for a higher referral fee. And you could earn an additional 3.5%, 4% in revenue share if you're with a brokerage that shares in the revenue, like I am. My brokerage shares 50% of the revenue that comes into our company. And also, this is creating multiple streams of income, right? You're getting paid. Think about this for a minute. You're getting paid from, let's just say that client or that guest is selling their house in Texas and they don't have a real estate agent. You're able to refer that listing to another agent in Texas to sell that property. That's number one. The second way to get paid is they're coming in, they're staying in your property. So they're paying you a nightly rate or a weekly rate or a monthly rate. So they're paying you to stay in that property. That's the second way to get paid. The third way is they're looking to purchase a property. So you're going to refer them to one of your agents. That's the third way to get paid. The fourth way to get paid, the fourth and fifth, you kind of have to be with my firm. But the fourth way is the firm actually pays you another 3.5% to 4% out of the firm's referral commissions. And the firm is also paying you in stock as well. So we're a publicly traded company too. If you have questions about that, ask me. So that's 5 ways that I personally get paid from these properties. So just imagine if you passed 10 extra referrals this year, like how much would that be for you? Some of you are in California, some of you are in Florida, North Carolina. I know you guys are kind of all over the place, and that could add up to a lot of money, right? How about if you just closed 3 more houses this year as a real estate agent? You just kept these leads for yourself and you closed 3 more homes this year. Again, that could be a lot of money added up for you. So I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're learning something here. And I want to recap just a couple of things that I've gone over. So the first thing is how to find, furnish, and fill the properties in order to attract the right kind of guest, meaning you are looking for your perfect avatar. So I really want to encourage you to think about where your properties are, where you live, maybe. I do recommend starting this in your backyard, not somewhere else, because it's going to take a little hands-on when you get started. So think about who is your perfect guest, all right? Who do you want to cater to? Also, how to use other people's properties to build out your short-term rental portfolio, all right? This is doing the rental arbitrage method and speaking with the landlords instead of actually going and purchasing all of these properties, and earning additional income by referring the leads that you receive from your property to maybe another agent or two to actually go out and sell more properties that way. And then you're earning all of the referral fees coming in. So I'd like to know here in the comments, if you're ready to take this thing to the next level, let me know. Say, hey, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to do this. I know this is a lot of information that I've kind of dumped on you, but honestly, it's kind of a bird's eye view. Like, there's a lot that goes into this. And so let me know in the comment box, kind of if you're having questions or anything like that. Now, I do want to introduce you to the HALO method. The HALO method is my system. All right. The HALO stands for house hacking, which is teaching you how to live for free, just like we do in our house in North Carolina, where you're actually turning your personal property into an asset. It's not a liability anymore when you're earning money from it. So that's what house hacking is all about. And then the A is for arbitrage. So arbitrage is what I've mainly talked about today. I've talked a little bit about the house hacking, but mainly arbitrage, which is where you are, speaking to the landlord, you're pitching them correctly, and then you are then turning around and you are leasing the property out on more of a sublease or a master lease. And the L stands for lease options. Lease options is what I like to say, try before you buy. So you can go to a landowner or a homeowner and you can say, hey, I want to lease this with the option to purchase in 1 year, 2 years, whatever. And a percentage of what I'm paying you for rent is going to go towards the down payment if I choose to use my option and purchase this property. Excuse me. And the O stands for owner financing. So owner financing is where you actually, again, talk with the homeowner and you say, look, will you stand in as the bank on this property? Will you hold the note? So instead of me having to go to the bank to get an actual loan, you are going to hold the loan on this property. Instead of me paying you $200,000 cash for this house, then you're actually able to earn a 5% interest rate or whatever versus putting that money into the bank and making 0.25% interest on that money. So this is the whole HALO method. I currently am selling the arbitrage portion of this. And the house hacking, lease option, and owner financing, that's going to be coming out later. That is not ready to go quite yet because it does take a lot of time to put these courses together. So what's in the first course is the arbitrage method, all right? So this is an entire 7-hour course that I've done. I've got it all broken down into modules where, going in, hey, this is where she's talking to the the landlords. This is what she's saying. This is the script that you're using. I have an entire workbook with all the PDFs and everything like that in there. This is all of the scripts that we use. It's our email templates. It's our objection handling guide, because you are going to get some objections. Yes, let's face it. We also have all of the checklist in there, exactly what you need. I think most importantly is my leases. My leases are super important. I've paid over $3,000 to have these leases done. And it's the lease that actually allows you to master lease this property out and sublease it out. So this is the lease between you and your company and the landlord. All right, this is a really great lease. It's going to protect you. And then it's got an addendum in there where, depending on what state you're in, you take it to your attorney in your state and you have them review it and then add whatever addendum they need to make it, good in your state. How about that? And then it's also got my lease that I'm using for my clients, my guests that are coming in for 30, 60, 90 days at a time. Because depending again on your state, a lot of these guests, you only want to do a 30-day lease with them because you want it to fall in to vacation rental, right? You don't want it to go long-term rental because you don't want, if you had, knock on wood, someone who didn't want to leave, you don't want to have to go through the eviction process with them. You never want this to fall into landlord-tenant law. So that's really important. And so I give you my lease that I use with my clients. Again, these two leases, I do recommend you taking to your attorney in your state and you have them review it so that it's good for your state, okay? And then I also have a private Facebook group community as well, where all of the past and present students are in there. They're asking questions. They're showing us what they're doing with their properties. And it's just a fun group to be a part of. And then also when I film these courses, I do it in like a 2-3 day challenge at a time, meaning I give you the access to literally sit and watch me film all of this. And I just go through and I teach every single thing for these courses. And then I send everything off to my editor, and then the editor comes up with this amazing course. And so you would get VIP access as well to all of those other courses that I'm going to be recording, which is the house hacking, the owner financing, and the lease options. If you want access to that as well. Some people don't really care about that because that's more like purchasing the properties. But I think eventually, especially when our market does take a downturn eventually, this is going to be really important for you to know, especially the owner financing part. So I want to ask you, have you ever wasted money? Because I know I have, right? The Starbucks effect, the coffee effect, latte effect, that's what it's called. Eating out, buying stuff that we don't need. What I'm asking you today is to make an investment in yourself. Learn this business. Start creating multiple streams of income today. This is not something that can be put off, okay? And I love this quote. It says, you cannot be rich and right. To be rich, you must be in control. Control brings income. When you insist on being right, you give up control. You know why I like this? I like it because you just have to control the property. And so many people are like, no, you have to buy the property and you have to, you have to do all this. You have to put all this money in. No, you just have to control the property. That is it. Okay? That is it. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a couple bonuses today as well. And the first bonus is how to find the money. So I understand that many of you watching this right now, you may not have $10,000, okay? So if you don't have $10,000, that's okay. There's many ways that you can come up with the money. And I actually have a whole video for this as well that I send out. It's a little course on this. And I will also schedule a personal phone call with me too. So I can kind of walk you through, how do you find the money? Do you partner with someone? Do you get a credit partner? Do you do more business lines of credit? Like, what do you need to do? So I'll walk you through that because believe me, we've been there. And so today, if all I did today was I finally started you on the right path to create some passive income for yourself, would that be worth it? You've spent, I don't know, how long has it been? 45 minutes with me? Would that be worth it? How about if I just gave you a little kick in the butt to finally get you moving in the right direction? Would that be worth it? Or if you got 4 to 6 more closed transactions this year, would that be worth it? I hope so. Because you know what? Every single time you close a house, that money is spent. It disappears, right? But when you close another house, the money comes back, but it disappears again. It's not continuing. You don't do the work one time to get paid again and again and again. You're not setting up a business that's going to continue to pay you. And that's what the whole Wealthy Realtor Masterclass was about. It's about changing your mindset so that you're focusing on businesses that are going to pay you again and again and again, and multiple streams of income. So I'm asking you to do something for yourself that will save you some time and create that passive income, because I think we can all agree that money comes back again and again and again, but your time doesn't. And if you don't have something set in place that's going to continue to pay you on a recurring basis or a passive basis, then you're never going to have the time, the freedom that you want to go travel or to be with your family. So the second bonus that I'm doing is a behind the scenes bus tour that I did. And what we did was we took about 15 people, I want to say, and we went into 3 or 4 of our properties and we taught lessons in each. And there's tons of tips in this. This video is about, I don't know, 37, 38 minutes. And it's been edited. So I took 4 hours down to 37 minutes. And this is just giving you all of the tips and tricks and just letting you see like an inside look, a behind the scenes look at what our properties look like and exactly how we got these properties and what we did with these properties. So it's a really cool bonus. And maybe after COVID, we'll do it again. So you can do this yourself. I'm nothing special. Let me just tell you that you can do this. But I will tell you that I made a lot of mistakes and I spent a lot of money on coaches and mentors and all of that. And finally, we've got this figured out, but I'm still learning every day too, right? I think we all are. But information alone, it's not going to save you. All right. I can give you all of this information. But really what it comes down to is you need the systems, you need the scripts, you need the documents, you need the templates, the leases, the support. You need a mentor who's done it before, so that you can actually go to that person and ask questions. So you can learn the hard way like we did, or you can learn the easy way. So what you're going to get if you choose to work with us today is you're going to get the entire edited workbook. You're going to get, everything that we use. Okay. You're going to get our scripts, our objection handling, all of our leases, all of our checklists. You're going to get all of that. And yes, my guy who does all my marketing said, this is the value. It's $6,600, right? And you know what? I agree with that. I actually think it's more than that, to tell you the truth, because I can tell you that I've spent way more than that on figuring this business out. And some of it worked and some of it didn't work. And so I can guarantee you I can guarantee you that if you buy into what we're doing today and you actually work this business, I can guarantee you that you are going to get a property under contract and get paid back your first month, okay? But I can also guarantee you that if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get the same results that you currently have. So I do have a guarantee here. If you dive in and you give us 4 weeks, you go through the course, you go through the workbook, you go through all of this, you plug it in to our group, and you do all of that, and you are not 100% satisfied, then you are going to get 100% of your money back. I can guarantee you that, because I want your review at the end. I want you posting in our Facebook group that you did it. Hey, this is my first property. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I want you out there raving about what we've done here, because I believe in referrals, right? Refer us business. And that's the way this whole thing goes around, right? So again, this is everything that you're going to get, $6,600 worth of stuff. Today, I'm doing it for $797. All right. I normally sell this $997 just as an open course on the internet. But I'm doing the $797 because many of you, like I said, spent, that 4 or 5 hours with me at the Wealthy Realtor Masterclass. And you got to really see what we're doing and see what many other people are doing. So if you go to amandathetravelingrealtor.com/halo, that is where you're going to be able to find the course. That's where you're going to be able to find actually everything that comes in the course. It's too much to list to actually, put everything on this one webinar. But what you're buying is the arbitrage, okay? That's what's done. That's what's finished. And you would get all of your access and your logins and everything into that system. And so this is the arbitrage system. So last but not least, what if you couldn't work for 6 months? And I'm asking you that question because that's what happened to me. I went through months and months at a time with my dad, where he was in the hospital, he was in a hospice, we had to take him to Mexico for treatment, where I couldn't work. And if it hadn't have been for our properties for passive income, I don't really know what we would have done, because we had that money coming in, thankfully. But that's what I'm trying to do for all of you too. All right. Do you currently have passive income coming in? Do you have enough to take that real vacation? Do you have enough to show up for your kids, basketball games or practices or whatever they're doing now? Do you have enough money to have that freedom where you can do what you want when you want? That's why I'm so passionate about having multiple streams of income, because what's 4 to 6 new clients per year worth to you? I can guarantee you it's worth more than $797, right? So create the multiple streams of income, guys. Sell these homes yourself, earn 80 to 100% of commissions, depending on what brokerage you're with. Refer these leads out to other real estate agents and brokers for referral commission. And you can charge more of a commission for these because these are like really hot leads. Or just sit back and earn the $800 to $1,200 per month with each Airbnb property that you have. That's what we're currently profiting per property. And if you're, again, part of what I'm doing with my company, then you're earning revenue share as well from these agents selling. So there's just multiple ways to create that income coming in. And again, go to amandathetravelingrealtor.com/halo to get the $797 deal. This will be good until tonight. My guy's taking it off tonight and we're going back to the $997. But this is available for $997 at any other time. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a discount because you did spend all that time with me. So I just want to say thank you so much for spending an hour with me today. And I am going to, let me know if you have any questions at all, but definitely check out that link, because that is going to give you all of the information that you need in order to make an educated decision. So that being said, I am going to stop the recording, and I hope you guys all had a wonderful time.